All right there, everyone. I have a very special guest with us today. Many of you probably already know him. Chris Widner is with us. Chris is a super successful speaker and best-selling author. He's authored more than 22 books. There's very few people. Actually, I don't think I've ever interviewed anyone that's got just as many books as I have. It's wonderful. He's a New York Times bestseller, Wall Street Journal bestseller. He's got a huge Twitter following. Check him out at Chris Widner. He's keynoted conferences all over the nation and indeed all over the world. So we're talking Germany, Spain, Russia, China, Egypt, Singapore, Australia. But best of all, Chris is a patriot. He's one of us, and he's an avid defender of faith, family, and freedom. And he's launching an unbelievably exciting new project that's going to change more lives than anyone could ever imagine. Chris, can I announce it?
Absolutely. I would love it if you would.
Can I? I am so excited. It is called the American Freedom Tour, and its first stop is in just a couple of weeks from now in Jacksonville, Florida, featuring the one and only Donald Trump Jr. It's going to be absolutely amazing, and I'm going to be there too. We'll have a link down below for you to find out how you can be there as well, and how we can hook up together. Maybe we can even get Chris to join us at some point. We'll see. We'll see if we can snag him from the crowds there. Chris is here to tell us all about this new venture he's working on. Chris, welcome. Thank you so much for sharing some time with us.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me on. And I'm very excited that you're partnering with us and that you're going to come there and speak. And you and I are new friends. And I knew, like, right in the middle of our first conversation, I'm like, this guy's good. Like, and
right back at you, Chris.
And the thing that I love about you is you can, and this is a rare skill set that you have, the ability to take super high level intellectual stuff and make it at a level in which the average common person can understand it. And I have always had such great respect for people like that, who can, like, quote, de Tocqueville with G.K. Chesterton with People magazine and put it all together and go, man, that makes a lot of sense. So we're thrilled to have you be part of it.
Oh my, the honor is all mine. And right back at you too, in terms of being able to distill these massive ideas, make it practical and change people's lives.
I can use the word de Tocqueville and Chesterton and People magazine in a sentence. So I mean, I can't tell you a lot about it, but
we are simpatico. That's right. That's wonderful. Well, before we dive into the whole Freedom Tour, which is so exciting, if you don't mind, Chris, can you give us just a bit of your backstory and how you got involved in this growing patriot movement that's literally going on all over the world?
Yeah, I grew up in Seattle, Washington. Long story short, 28 homes, 11 different schools. My dad died when I was 4, got into drugs early on, 5th and 6th grade. Graduated from high school. My mentor, Zig Ziglar, who I used to have a TV show with, he always said that he was in the half of the class that made the top half possible. Well, I was in the 10th of the class that made the 90%, top 90% possible. Got into college. I became a Christian, got into college, decided to go into the ministry. And I was pretty liberal coming out of college. I always tell people this. It's kind of funny. I voted for Michael Dukakis. Was the last Democrat I ever, because I got out of college and I was a pacifist and all this kind of stuff. And then you go into the real world. You can vote on ideology once, and then you get into the real world and you see how much money's taken out of your check, and you're like, maybe I should become a Republican. So I did, and I ended up getting involved in politics when my closest friend at the time, Dino Rossi, decided to run for Republican governor in the state of Washington, and he won the recount, and then he lost the second recount, had the election stolen from him. And at that point, I really got involved in politics. I ended up running for the U.S. Senate in 2010. I started a Facebook page in 2008 called Positively Republican, which grew to over 1 million people. We started a website that then we get 20 million page views a month. We sold it in the run up to the election in 2015. And so I've been involved. I had a radio show in Seattle, drive time radio show. So very much using my skill set as a speaker and a writer to talk mainly about conservative ideals. And now, given the state of where we're at in America today, it's almost exclusively in that. I've done well in my career. I'm a member of the Motivational Speakers Hall of Fame and, all that kind of stuff. But it's all hands on deck for us right now. I'm not going to let myself be bothered by, business kinds of things. things when I can be doing things that can help save our country.
Yeah, yeah, our civilization. And I mean, that's a great point, Chris, because I know a lot of people are watching and listening this, and they're obviously really despairing right now, right? The current administration seems to be able to move so effortlessly between utter incompetence on the one side and draconian tyrannies on the other. For you, based on your experience, on your world travels and the like, what do you see? Let's start, let's be sober here. What do you see as the most serious threat we're facing as a people today?
I think the control of speech. Those who control the language, not just speech, not just the ability to say something, which is being squashed, both politically as well. I mean, we're not at Canada's level yet, where if a pastor says that homosexuality is a sin, he can be imprisoned for it. But I'll tell you what, we're not too far off. So just the ability to say, plus you've got the Facebooks and the Twitters of the world just allowing you to say it. But I think also the language. The left is really great at language. For example, the insurrection, right? How can you brand an entire event, which was of course bad? Those people should have never done the things that they did, but nobody has been charged with insurrection. Nobody's been convicted of insurrection. There were no guns on the property. One person was shot. It was somebody from the crowd. If there had been inciting of insurrection, if they would have been able to really truly pin that on Trump, they would have already tried him, convicted him, and hung him.
Right.
And yet there wasn't. And yet the vernacular that we use is, it was an insurrection. And then theirs is a peaceful protest. Like, I think, and this is coming from a guy who...
Fiery, but peaceful.
Right. I mean, you and I, we're words people, right? We write books and we're language people. And so I think we have a deeper understanding maybe than the average person about how powerful language is. And they are so good at it, and we are so not very good at it. So I think that's the biggest thing, is language is what convinces people. Language is what influences people. Language is what helps people formulate and change their beliefs.
Yeah.
And so I think that is, there's obviously other ones, right? The attack on our Second Amendment rights,
sure,
those kinds of things. But for me, it's always about that First Amendment, the First Amendment. And I love what somebody said. They said, if they take away your First Amendment, that's why you have the Second Amendment.
Exactly. If ever I deal with a liberal student in the universities, whenever they say, I think the Second Amendment is just silly, we need to get rid of it, I tell them, shush, shush, shush. I don't want to hear it, because I'm taking away your First Amendment first.
That's great.
So no, stop talking right now.
That's great. Yeah.
I think it's so important. Again, what I love about you and what you're doing, I think it's so important to live by what's called the Stockdale principle. For our listeners that they don't know, it's named after Admiral James Stockdale, highest ranking POW in Vietnam. And I've seen this in business literature as well, which I'm really excited to see. I think it's wonderful. The Stockdale principle is very simple. It's also known as the paradox. We have to be absolutely honest and forthright about the dire situation that we find ourselves in. And at the same time, we can never, ever, ever, ever lose hope that we are going to prevail. And that's how Stockdale was able to survive those 7 years in a prisoner camp, right? I mean, absolute realism in terms of your current situation, no matter how dire, and never, ever, ever lose that hope that as Samwise Gamgee counseled Frodo, that this darkness will pass and the sun will shine all the brighter. And Chris, that brings us to the Freedom Tour. I mean, tell us about this Freedom Tour that you're setting up here. It looks like such an amazing venture.
Well, I got to tell you, I for 5 years, conservatives, and longer than that, but for especially the last 5 years, since Donald Trump got into the race, and especially after he won, we have been beaten up for 5 years. We are horrible. We're deplorable. We're transphobic, homophobic, whatever. We are sexist, racist, ableist, we're every sort of negative possible thing. Then for the last 18 months, we've been locked inside by ourselves and told that we're horrible, rotten, dirty Nazis, And I just found that so many people are starting to lose that hope. Steve, they're losing the hope. We lost the election, we this, that, and the other thing. And now I'm sitting in my house drinking too much and thinking about killing myself because I'm a horrible, rotten person. Right. People are just depressed. And as we started thinking about it, I said, look, man, we need to go on offense. Yeah. We've just been on defense for 5 years. Let's go on offense. Let's rent the big stadiums. Let's rent the big convention centers. Let's put great people on the stage and let's take it right straight back to them. And it's the American Freedom Tour, so that we can focus on freedom, faith, family, capitalism, America, and tell people how great America is. We all know we have warts, right? You pick the best looking people, Angelina Jolie or Brad Pitt, they still got some warts, right? Brad Pitt's probably got a wart on the back of his hand. Nobody's perfect, right? America isn't perfect either, but I'll tell you what, the world would look an awful lot different if America had never existed. And if it wasn't still in power today, the world would look, if you took us out, all of a sudden, it would be a mad rush to control the world. And so I just think it's important to get out there and be positive and hopeful and excited about who we are and what we can be. And so I thought, let's go do it. So we're using a model that's been used a lot for 40 years in the motivational space, where we're going to bring the best of the best. And we're going to have a great day, and people are going to feel excited. They're going to learn, they're going to grow, they're going to get educated, but they're also going to feel inspired. They're going to look around the room and go, oh, I'm not alone. The folks that follow you, who come down to the event, they're going to be able to get in a room with other people who are watching what you're doing and listening to what you're doing. And they're going to say, oh, we're part of this tribe. This is great. And it gives them inspiration. But the quote that I've been saying a lot lately, and I don't know who said it, but when we demonstrate courage, we give other people backbone. And I like that. So we're going to get out there and we're going to show courage, and people will get backbone from it.
Amen. Courage is contagious. I love it, gang. And if you're listening here and you're getting excited about this, make sure all you got to do is just click on the link below, and it'll take you right through how to set up and get registered. And you're going to absolutely love it. Can you give us a little, I mentioned Donald Trump Jr. He'll be there. Give us a taste of who else is going to be speaking.
Well,
I saw some other heavyweights there.
Dr. Steve Turley's going to be there.
He's a chump. Never meant it. Yeah, forget him.
No. You're awesome. You're awesome. Kayleigh McEnany is there. In fact, we just had our first speaker call with Kayleigh, and she's everything that you would imagine she is. She's delightful.
I can only imagine.
She's delightful. And was born in Jacksonville, by the way. So we're bringing her home. We've got Sheriff David Clark. You probably remember Sheriff David Clark from Milwaukee. We have Dan Bongino. Maybe you've heard of Dan Bongino, big superstar right now in our conservative movement.
He's a wimp. Yeah, come on now.
I can take him. Dinesh D'Souza is going to be there, and we have opportunities to have breakfast with Dinesh and lunch with Donald Trump Jr. and some of those things. But then we've got other folks that maybe people haven't heard of who are really pretty amazing. A good friend of mine, Rob Waldo Waldman, graduate of the U.S. Air Force Academy, did 80 sorties in Bosnia-Herzegovina, Serbia. We have a guy named Ron White. Ron is a two-time U.S. memory champion. You can hand Ron White a deck of cards completely randomly shuffled. He will look at them for 60 seconds, put the deck down, and tell you the order frontwards and backwards. Well, he has also memorized every person who's died in the Afghan war, 2,900 and something. He doesn't have time to do that. He writes them out by hand. He writes their names out by hand. It takes him 12 or 13 hours, but he has also memorized the U.S. Constitution. So we're going to have a giant wall. It looks a lot like the Vietnam War Memorial, and he's going to spend 6 hours that day in the lobby writing the Constitution by memory, by hand. And so just some really great, neat things. Rabbi Daniel Lapin is going to be there for folks who know the rabbi. He's amazing. He has a book called Thou Shalt Prosper. He's going to be there on Friday. It's a 2-day event, Friday, Saturday. So he's going to be there on Friday, and just a bunch of great people, some other speakers as well. You're going to be there, and that's very exciting for us. You're going to be a great addition to the lineup. And so it's going to be great. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a don't miss this kind of event.
It's so exciting. When I first saw it, I went, I mean, just being there, not even just being on the stage, but actually just being there. is something I can't wait for. It's going to be so exciting. And again, all Turley talkers out there, you guys got to come on out. We're all going to get together out there. Chris, we're going to try to get you with us, man. It'll be awesome. We're going to party together, man.
It'll be fun.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Oh, it's great. When and where is it being held?
It's in Jacksonville. It's at the, I think it's called the Prime F. Osborne Convention Center in downtown Jacksonville. It is October 8th and 9th. So the 8th is going to be focusing a lot on financial freedom. And you know what? When we decided to do that, it was pre some of the real draconian measures. You know, before they said, look, everybody has to get vaccinated or you don't have a job. Everybody in a company over 100, you have to get vaccinated. So conservatives are going to be looking for ways to make some money, because some of them, I had a gal wrote to me the other day. She just took her first job at a major insurance company that everybody would know their name if I said it. She got a job. It was $300,000 a year. Wow. They did not tell her she'd be required to be vaccinated. She showed up on the first day. They said, what's your vaccination status? She said, well, I've had COVID. I have antibodies. I'm not going to get the vaccine. They said, you need to get the vaccine or you're fired. Wow. And so she spent one day at a $300,000 a year job and she walked back out. And it's unfortunate, but people need to learn to be able to take advantage of their own opportunities. So we're going to focus a lot in on understanding money, you know, and various options and those kinds of things. And then we have one day that's just going to be, you know, full blown political kind of stuff as well. And so the 2 days together, one price gets you in both days, and it's going to be fantastic.
That's so amazing. And yeah, financial freedom is so important for patriots. One of the things that was able to get Czechoslovakian dissidents through the Soviet period was the advent of the parallel polys we talk a lot about on the channel. Václav Benda, Václav Havel went on to become president of the Czech Republic. Yeah, when your institutions are so dilapidated and so compromised as the dominant institutions of their day was in the Soviet Union, it's incumbent upon freedom-loving people to create their own institutions.
Well, and if you think about it this way, you have, I mean, millions of Americans who are lower to middle class. And because of that, financially, they have no options. So somebody walks in and says, get the vax or you're out.
Right.
What are they looking at? Look, think about a guy or a gal, they're 40 years old, they make $40,000 a year and they got 2 kids. And they're like, I can't quit my job.
Right.
And so this is how this tyrannical government is forcing people to do it, by stripping them of their very livelihood.
Right.
So anybody that we can teach to create your own livelihood, that's good news.
Beautifully put. What is your overall vision? What do you want people to leave these 2 days with?
I loved how you opened the show. I want them to have hope.
Yeah.
I want them I want to get them over that hump of, oh, I'm a horrible, rotten person, and maybe I'm stupid because I'm a conservative, and where's the world going? I want them to come back and go, wow, I'm part of a movement of really great people, and I am inspired, and I have learned some things. It's going to be entertaining, but it's also going to be educational. I want people to understand what's going on and give them practical tools when they go back to their communities, for the people that fly in or for the people around Jacksonville. I want them to be able to know that it's going to be okay. Yes, it's very hard right now, and it's horrible and unlike anything I've ever seen in America before. But there are a lot of us, and we're on the same page. We may have some nuances that we don't agree on, but you know what? For the vast majority of us, we're 85% there. And as you know, Ronald Reagan used to say, I may get it a little bit wrong, but if he's 80% for me, I don't worry about the other 20%.
Amen to that.
So I'm paraphrasing it loosely, but yeah. So I want them to feel that hope that you talked about.
Yeah, it's beautifully put. Again, gang, to attend, all you have to do is click on the link below. You can register. And we're hoping to put something together for all Turley talkers that come. It's going to be so exciting. Chris Widner, thank you so much for your vision. Thank you so much for your faithfulness, for your hard work, for your motivation. You know, I do. I sleep easier at night knowing that patriots like you are out there. I got to tell you that. You're a hero, man. So thank
Oh,
you so much for everything that you're doing. And thanks so much for giving us some of your time.
absolutely. Thanks for having me, and thanks for bringing some folks to the event. It's going to be fantastic. I want to see all those Turley talkers down there.
That's right. Me too. This could be great. I mean, in Jacksonville, Florida, you remember, Chris, I don't know if you know, I live literally 20 minutes from Joe Biden's basement.
Oh,
so, and I like to say, if it's really quiet, you could actually hear him snoring from my porch, you know, but I cannot wait to be hanging out with patriots in the great free state of Florida. It's going to be absolutely amazing. And it'll be great to see you and see your expertise and motivation and success training, and how you're going to be applying it to this patriot movement that's exploding, not just here in the States, but indeed all over the world. It's absolutely wonderful to see. So thank you again, Chris, for everything.
thanks. Thank you.